Hi everybody, I'm back. So here we are, Axiom Verge, and you all graciously brought us home on the hard mode incentive. So you are going to get to see not only a much more difficult, more intense version of Axiom Verge, but also the bonus glitch. This is the world premiere at a marathon of a glitch that I invented myself called Krill Rocket. So if you're ready to ride the rocket, there is one more surprise that I have in store. If we manage to break 16.5K while we're running, and we are only $46 away from that, you have about 30 minutes to hit that, and I will show you one more extra super special in the run. We're going to go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, go. This game is very much more like Metroid than it is the Vania side of Metroidvanias. Axiom Verge does not have any experience or equipment mechanics. It only has the upgrades that you can pick up in game. And in very clear Metroid homage, at the beginning of the game, we must go left in order to go right. So we're going to go ahead and pick up our first weapon, the red gun, the Axiom Disruptor. The Axiom Disruptor is your basic forward blaster. And the running gun action of our protagonist Trace is very reminiscent of Contra, which is actually also an intentional call out by Tom Happ, as well as a grapple item that we get later in the game that is an intentional reference to Bionic Commando. So as you can see, we're doing a vertical climb here that is very reminiscent of Brinstar in the original Metroid, and so we call this the Brinstar Climb. The Brinstar Climb takes us to our second weapon of the game. That weapon is called Nova. It has a slightly different function from the Axiom Disruptor in that it can you can detonate the projectile to fire in 6 directions, and that allows us to go ahead and open some laser barriers by hitting some switches that we otherwise would not be able to open. So we're going to climb up here. We're going to pick up Nova, and Nova gives us half of the weapons that we're actually going to use in the game. There are 20 weapons in this game. We are going to use 4 of them. And just a little bit of information about this category for people who are not familiar with Axiom Verge. This category is 100%, but Axiom Verge tracks both map percentage and item percentage. So we actually do have to collect not only all items, but also all map tiles. And additionally, because the community decided it, this is also an all bosses run. We call this IMB for items, map, and bosses. So we are going to visit everything in this game. We are going to show you literally everything that Axiom Verge has to offer. So we're gonna hop over here. That was a little bit hinky, but we're gonna run into the save room only for the purpose of picking up map tiles. And this is one of 2 save rooms where you can pick up the upper save room map tile without any sort of special movement upgrades. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. This room with this big spider thing right before the boss is called a boss foyer. That is actually in the game code itself. Almost every boss has one. Welcome to the first boss, Zetter. One of the things about hard mode is that bosses move 25% faster than they do in normal mode. So Zetter is going to move faster, and our normal mode quick kill does not work on Zetter. I'm going to manipulate him a little bit, but a lot of this fight is ad hoc to try and just keep him in positions that work to get as many hits in as possible, because he doesn't face away from you that much, so you can kind of just wail on him until he explodes. And just under 3 minutes, Zetter explodes, and we're going to go ahead and pick up our first upgrade of the run, the laser drill. The laser drill, in addition to allowing us to drill through blocks, also allows us to damage enemies with it. And you can fire the laser drill a little bit in tandem with your shots. This is a way of getting extra damage in that we are going to use a lot of times throughout the run. That big octagon that I just picked up is the power node. That increases my damage, which is very important. We'll be picking up all of those over the course of the run, making us super powerful. Everything in hard mode has, I think, 25% more health and deals 20% more damage to trace, something like that. And so everything is a lot hardier and we're a lot weaker. So we're going to take a little bit of extra care in this compared to the normal mode run. So at this point, we have everything that we need to leave the starting area, Ereboo. We have not collected everything here, but that's because we can't, as you might expect from a Metroid game. So we're just going to pop some bubbles here for fun because everybody knows that popping bubbles is cathartic. We're going to pick up our first health node, which will give us 50% more health, increasing our total from 200 to 300. And we're just going to dip out of our first area, Ereboo, and into Absu. One of the things that you might notice me doing as we move through the game is jumping around corners. This is because Axiom Verge, like many games, does have gravity applied to falling speed. And so dipping around corners as much as possible while you've already got some falling speed does increase the rate at which you move downward. Additionally, you'll see me doing some kind of frenetic jumping and drilling in diagonals as I'm drilling through blocks. This is because you can end up in a state where you've staggered the damage to the blocks that you're drilling, and you want to even that out as much as possible to prevent just like drilling the top block and still having to finish the bottom block. You want to clear them at the same time as much as possible. This is the third of 4 weapons that we'll use, Kilver. And then we did not successfully execute Chin Jump, which is a coyote time jump underneath Elsinova's chin. Saves about half second if you get it. And loses a half second if you miss it. In this area, we can basically just run past the zombies. Kilver, as you can see, is a short-range lightning weapon, and we can fire it basically at the same time as the drill to get a little extra damage in. This is a technique that we call Drillver. In this little catacombs area, we are going to go a little bit out of our way to pick up some additional map tiles before we proceed upward toward the second boss, Talal. And then we are going to enter the snail shaft. Everything in here takes 2 hits to kill in normal mode, and in hard mode they take 3 hits, and it's terrible and it's bad, and now we're done with that. So we are going to dip into this save room to the left. This is the second of 2 save rooms where you can get the upper tile with no movement upgrades. So we're going to do that. We are also going to save our game, a significant deviation from normal mode, because the boss deals so much damage that damage boosting through him without taking that safety save to refill our health would almost surely kill us unless we did it perfectly. We don't want to have to deal with that, so we're just going to take that save. This is the second boss, Talal. And the object with Talal is to get behind him because Talal is not capable of turning around. So once we're behind him, Talal will just kind of walk back and forth at us, and we just need to stand back here and shoot his cauliflower as much as possible. Talal, unfortunately, needed an accessible chamber and didn't get it, so we're just gonna... Oh, there we go. Unfortunately, just utterly destroy him without it being any contest whatsoever, and his shrapnel continues into the room below us. Now in this room we are going to pick up the address disruptor, which is our glitch gun. We can now glitch the world. Now these are not the kinds of glitches that you'll see later in the run, which are actual exploits in the game code. These are in lore glitches, though according to Tom Happ, all of the exploits are also canon because of the theming of Axiom Verge. So we're going to go ahead and pass through here. We're basically on an Absu escape at this point. We're picking up a couple more items, but nothing super exciting. Another health node and another power node as we make our escape. So now is actually a really good time for some donations if we got them. And if we don't, that's fine too. In this squid room, we're just kind of hopping along. We want to avoid taking any hits whatsoever. We're just kind of jumping around, trying to avoid these green little shuttle-looking things, which deal absolutely absurd amounts of damage. And then we are going to proceed here. We're just going to slip by right in front of that and move through here. A little precise drilling to try and make our way underneath the spider as fast as possible and grab this power node out from under it. Slip out while we still have iframes, and we are out of Absu and into the next area, Z. everything in Z suddenly deals a lot more damage. If we do this right, and we did not, we would have taken a forward boost off of that ant instead of a backward boost, which is okay. Everything's going to be fine. We're just going to run through here. It's not a big deal anyway, because we are actually going to take another safety save here in preparation for two of the most brutal rooms in the early game. These are really threatening run killers, pretty much no matter what level you're running at. The first one is the room that's coming up called Anthill. And that's this room. So some very specific dodging and damage boosting through this room results in a much faster climb. As you can see, I took one more hit on the way up, and that was actually unintentional. You can avoid that hit. And this is YOLO room. YOLO room is dangerous, and it's so called because, you know, YOLO. And we are barely out of YOLO room with just a fragment of health left. So what we are going to do here is apparently die. That was very unfortunate. That's going to take us all the way back to our lower Kerr or lower Z save room. So it's a good thing that we took that safety save. So while we go ahead and redo that segment, now would be a really good time. It looks like no, maybe we haven't gotten any more donations in the meantime.
No, we've got a few.
Oh, okay. Then please, by all means, if you want to go ahead and read some.
Yeah, we have $50 from RPG Chick. Amazing marathon, amazing cause. So glad to be a part of it this time around. And we were very glad to have you too, RPG Chick. If you saw that run, ooh, the donations keep pouring in. If you saw that Rhapsody run, you know it was a good time. We have $5 from Alice Pow. The B in LGBT stands for bisexual bees, which I guess is like a subset of the thing the B stands for. Then we have a whopping $100 from Storm Vision that just says, and fortunately I checked what this donation went towards so I can do this right. Na 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 na. Then we have
very nice.
We have $100 from Ankarad. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm so sorry if I didn't. Good luck on your run, Siberia. We have $50 from Cryan HR. If I were Trace Axiom Verge, I would simply smooch the giant snake woman. And we have $25 from Mad Mega X, or Mad Mega. That's just a heart, but the heart is returned back to you, and this is seriously shaken up that bid war. So it's worth checking out. I cannot go into all of the things that happen to it, but if you want music, you might want to check to make sure your music is still on top.
All right. Some excellent donations as we finally make our way out of Z and into Kerr. That was a little bit of a terrifying segment, and trying to do Anthill into YOLO, unfortunately, did not serve me well. So I took a little bit of a safety strat around there. We made our way out, and now this is actually a routing save that I'm taking here. This is not a safety save anymore. In Kerr, we are looking for one very important item before we move on from Kerr, and that is the high jump. In this game, it looks like a Wi-Fi symbol, but we still call it Jordans because why not? So we're gonna go get our Jordans, our Wi-Fi enabled Jordans. Everything is on the Internet of Things now these days. We've got lots of stuff going on here. That big shaft that I just climbed up is called Mission Impossible because of all the lasers. And the room that I'm in now is called the Juicy Room because of all of these enemies firing gushers at us. So we're going to go ahead and dip through that. And in this other large room right here, we are going to find our smart shoes. And we are just going to save warp right back out to that save at the bottom of Kerr. And so this is why we take this save. We're going to use this per probably another 10 minutes of the run. Just going and getting things, and then save warping right back here. It used to be that when we did 100%, we did it very similar to the No Major Glitches any percent run, where you just wouldn't save the game for the first between 16 and 20 minutes of the game. And then at that point, you would save warp all the way back to the very beginning of the game. And that would avoid you having to get the grappling hook early. But it turns out that the grappling hook is the source of almost all shenanigans in the universe. So we're going to get it. Because of that, we are actually able to save during that first 20 minutes. That was a nice little swag jump there called Zombie Jump. That jump saves about 3.5 seconds over having to go around the long way, which is a really nice time save for a pretty easy jump. We're coming up on our next boss, Uruku. And Uruku is in this gigantic vat of pink stuff. And to get to the safe space where we are going to do our quick kill, we have to do what is known as the Pepto Biz Crawl. And so having done that, we are now just going to stand here and shoot diagonally at Uruku. We'll take a brief moment to glitch something behind us that will make our exit easier when we finally kill the boss. And otherwise, we're just going to hang out here, and this is not that different from what happened once we got behind Telal. This boss is not capable of turning around or targeting us in that position. And so that gives us a nice little comfy kill zone. And so we'll go ahead and proceed into this pump room, grab the switch to put the lasers down, and we are going to get something that we've been missing for a long time as a physicist, which is a lab coat. Now, lab coats, as everybody knows, reduces the amount of damage that you take by 40%. I think that's pretty well known. What is lesser known is that lab coats also enable you to walk through walls. And so we're going to use that property of the lab coat to go ahead and visit parts of Kerr that we haven't been able to go to before. Ooh, that was a little dicey. Let's go ahead and we're going to take a little bit of safety health here because we got hit in places that we did not quite want to. All right, so we're going to slip through here, just walk through that wall using the lesser known power of our lab coat. We'll pick up that power node, hop through. It is technically possible to get past that little crane grabber enemy. It's actually called a silk bug without taking any damage. And it's pretty hard, but unfortunately, having to stop for that one means that we are going to miss the fast cycle on these armadillos up here. That's totally fine. We'll take the slightly slower cycle that involves a damage boost, and everything will be hunky-dory. Moving up into Upper Kerr, I'm going to try a slightly risky jump that will drop me to the bottom if I miss it. And there we go. So let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and do this the way where we bait that. That's totally fine. And we'll go ahead and just keep on keeping on at this point. So we are proceeding on to get our not our laser drone, our remote drone. Remote drone is a friend. It is shaped a little bit like a crab, which is how you know that it's a friend. So we're going to go ahead and blip out of here again. And remote drone is, as our friend, is going to enable us to pick up another important item, which is an upgrade for our address disruptor, which is appropriately enough known as Address Disruptor 2. Address Disruptor 2 is going to be the thing that allows us to ascend to get the grappling hook, which then allows us to break the game. So we're gonna, this is very important. Now is actually a good time while I move through this hallway to pick up a few more donations.
All right, awesome. That bid war for the music is intense. It is really anybody's game. We have $20 from Mukura that says node activated. We have $20 from Oh Dear God. That is, of course, O-D-E-R God, G-A-W-D. For Kiddo and Nugget, love you all and thank you for supporting a great cause. And we have $50 from Dr. Goldfire. No comment, but thank you. I believe the Katamari soundtrack is currently in the lead for that bid war, which is a good choice. I mean, personally, if it were me, I'd want to see the Mother 3 one, but Good choice, I guess.
Na na na
Na,
na
na,
na
na,
na
na,
na
na,
na
na,
nakatamari
Nakamari
damashi. All right, so we have our address disruptor 2. We are on our way back up to the top of Kerr. We are going back up this way because there is something up here that we left unfinished when we came up for the drone. So we're going to pass through here. We're going to go ahead and glitch this little person. With our remote drone, we are actually going to climb into this little drone mini dungeon. There are a number of these across the game. Many of them are faster once you have another upgrade, but this one is actually really quick to do right now and on the way. So we're going to go ahead and pick up this relatively useless weapon for the speed run, but really good for casual play, called the Hypoatomizer. The Hypoatomizer basically fires out shots straight in front of you, and then also fires smaller shots off perpendicular to the main bullets, which is a really great the upcoming boss if you're fighting him casually. However, because this is hard mode, and because you all were so generous with your funds, we're actually not going to fight that boss at all right now. We are instead going to do the super secret bonus glitch, Krill Rocket. And Krill Rocket is an unusual glitch that is used to skip the fight with Gertab initially. Gertab is a giant scorpion that shoots flames out of its tail, so, it's scary. In normal mode, there's a quick kill for Gertab that is fairly reliable and actually also fairly forgiving. In hard mode, it is still possible to do the quick kill, and it is in fact slightly faster to do the quick kill. Even if you do the glitch optimally, and in fact can be significantly faster if the glitch is feeling finicky that day. But it is much, much less forgiving. And even the slightest error can send you all the way back down to the bottom of Kerr. So we are going to ride the Krill Rocket. And the Krill Rocket consists of positioning ourselves on this particular shrimpy thing right here, and getting it into this general area. And then we're going to basically be sticking our friend Trace in the wall by manipulating this krill. And so this can be a little bit finicky because if the drone lands on the krill during this, it can dramatically shift the position of the krill. And so the movement of this is a little bit chaotic, which is part of why we're actually able to do this in the first place. So we're gonna... Can I pop you in? Are you gonna resist? Come on. Right. And boop. And there we go. That is the setup for Krill Rocket. With Trace embedded firmly in the wall, I will walk this drone into the save point and recall it. What this does is it resets both rooms, and the game goes, wait, Trace is completely in a wall. I need to find a free space for him. And then just moves him straight up until it finds a free space. And now we're above Gertab. So we'll go ahead and pick up an extra health node and just keep on keeping on. That was actually a pretty good Krill Rocket. It can take a long time to set up if the krill is feeling unkind. So we're just going to move on into one of the hardest rooms in the game. That is hard mode only because the quick kill is so reliable and fast in normal mode that it doesn't make any sense to do it. There is it can be useful for low percent, but otherwise it doesn't. So this is Grapple Room. Grapple Room is the one of the fiercest rooms in the game. Everything in here does tons of damage, and there's a lot of it. There's higher enemy density here than almost anywhere in the game. This room is really quite dangerous, and getting through here quickly can be very, very difficult. And you do more or less have to kill a lot of these enemies. But we have made our way pretty much through the hard part of Grapple Room. We have to not forget, because again, this is IMB and we want all of our map tiles, to go ahead and pick up this save room. And then we are going to go ahead and make our way through here. Ooh, we are at BP health. That was risky. It's totally okay. There are no more enemies until after we've save warped out of this room. We're going to go ahead and send our drone down early to go ahead and pick up some map tiles that would otherwise take a while to clear out if we were to let Trace go and do it. And then we're going to go ahead and recall our drone all the way up to the top. Now that we can see Trace again, we're going to jump across and use our drone to go ahead and pick up this power node and then drop it for one more map tile before recalling it again. Move over here, lock in place, and fire our drone over here to pick up the grappling hook. And there's one more map tile and one more item that we need to get before we are done with this segment. We're going to go ahead and jump up here, grab this health node, which refills our health, but also we're done here, so we're just going to go ahead and save warp out. The drone makes things really interesting, but it makes them even more interesting in the not too distant future. So with this grappling hook in tow, we are now ready to ruin everything. The grappling hook has some pretty weird properties to it in terms of how it interacts with the rest of the game world. And so we're going to go ahead and abuse those properties to do things that we're not supposed to do. We have the grappling hook. I called it early, but it's actually at the intended portion of the game. And we are supposed to get that and go here where we ride Araka. Araka goes fast. We love her. And we give her head scritchies as a reward. Scritchy, 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 scritchy. Thank you, Araka, for the ride. We are going to go take a quick routing save, and then we're going to move on to the first of our major glitches. Now is a great time to read a quick donation or two.
Well, why don't we, instead of that, why don't we look at, I just want to point out that we are only, hold on, I need to do math, which is
$181.
$181 away from 17,000, thank you. But we are also 200 and some number that's 30 more than that, 31 more than that. Oh, please don't make me do math.
Okay.
From beating our all-time record for any event we've ever worked on.
Wow. So I just did some nonsense. I used my grappling hook to put myself through a wall that I wasn't supposed to be able to get to, and now, and then I grappled onto a door, which you're also not supposed to be able to do. So now I'm in a weird place all the way at the top of the map of the area that I'm supposed to go, and we are actually skipping the entirety of the story sequence that's supposed to happen here. You're supposed to go through this big hallucination sequence coming in from the bottom left of the map, and then, you know, the screen gets like wavy, like you're experiencing fever or like seeing heat haze. And then, you know, at the top of this, you run into this boss fight where instead of controlling Trace, you control the boss. Well, that part is still here, but we skipped the entire hallucination sequence because the grappling hook is funky. And so, yeah, we're just gonna try to get Trace to kill the boss as quickly as possible. Hey, that worked out really well. And this is that is called drug skip, because you're skipping that entire hallucination sequence. This pops us out into this weird little room with this big face whose name is Ophelia. The easiest tile to miss in the game is the tile above where you wake up in Ophelia's room. So we're going to grab that really quickly. We're going to go ahead and climb up here, and we are going to move on to... we're gonna replace this lab coat with something a little bit more dashing. While we make our way over there, I'm sorry that I interrupted you, but if we have any, if you have any other like donations or announcements, you probably got a good like 20 or 30 seconds before we.
Okay, well, we've talked a lot about the donation total and like of course we have, but I'd just like to take a very quick moment to talk about the cause that we are raising money for. We are, of course, raising money for the Trevor Project, and the Trevor Project is the largest suicide prevention and crisis intervention service to LGBTQ folk in the world, or in the world, and it is such a good cause. So your money is going to literally saving lives, and we can't thank you enough for your generosity in that regard. And with this, how many people we were that you've all really been able to help. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you everybody for raising for such an amazing cause. This is really close to my heart, and I'm so glad to be able to run in such an amazing marathon. Speaking of running, by now you may have figured out what I meant by picking up a more dashing coat. That is that our trench coat actually gives us a dash. So instead of walking through walls now, we are just dashing, and we can dash in midair and in lots of different directions. And also we can move through walls that are up to 2 tiles thick. And that allows us to move on to an area that we're really not supposed to be at yet, because of just a little bit of oversight in how thick the walls were in here. So we are now in Eden, which is the home of a gigantic wasp and lots of items that we can't get to just yet. And so we are going to go ahead and correct that on both fronts. So first we're going to go ahead and pick, we're not supposed to be able to get this item yet, but grappling hook does weird things, and so we are able to clip through the walls, just like that. And now we're going to go ahead and send our drone to pick up a couple of map tiles for us, and move all the way out here. So this is the boss foyer before our giant wasp friend Ukhu. And Ukhu has a really interesting property among bosses, which is that Ukhu is mostly invulnerable, except when it opens its mouth. Ukhu also has a little bit of a weird attack pattern, which involves sending out littler wasps at us. And we're basically going to try to exploit that in order to kill Ukhu a little bit faster than you might otherwise. And there we go. I'm also doing these doubly frame perfect rocket jumps to pick up the map tiles at the top of the map. So basically the deal with that quick kill was if you glitch the little wasps and you kill them when they're glitched, they explode, and those explosions deal lethal damage to Ukhu if even one of them hits him in the mouth. And so that is manipulating Ukhu's movement to be able to hit him with those wasps, and also be able to pick up those map tiles quickly is basically paramount. And so now we have the drone teleport, which allows us to swap places with our drone. And that makes drone movement really interesting and really fun. So now in order to get places, we are basically dashing. And while our dash is on cooldown, we're using our drone teleport to gain us a little bit of extra distance, a little bit faster. And so that's pretty great. Also, the drone moves faster through doors than Trace does. So we can gain a little bit of optimization by sending the drone through doors instead of Trace. Now we're going to do something that's really cursed. So I'm going to clip through the floor here, and then do a little drone swap without being able to see the setup. Now, if I did that wrong, I will soft lock at the next glitch and have to reload and reset up the glitch. Without it being blind, but I didn't. I promise you that. I promise you that I did not set that up wrong. Additionally, we are past 16.5k. I'm going to go ahead and grapple here and then just dash down, and that's going to put me out of bounds here. And then I'm going to launch my drone out into the abyss, and that's just going to exit out this door way the heck at the bottom right of the map, where I'm going to go ahead and pick up the passcode tool. And now I promised you all a little surprise. So since we're in part of the Metroid block, it's Justin Bailey time. So please enjoy the Speedo. We will be using this for the rest of the run. And yeah, so Tom decided to put in a little additional homage to Metroid here, in addition to the ones that are already in place. And so we do have our very own science thighs. We're going to go ahead and grab a little item really quickly, and then we're actually going to set up another one of these drone teleport warps, which I love a good nonsense warp, so I hope you do too. So we're going to go ahead and just stick that drone in the middle of the save point right there, and what that's going to do for us is it's going to set the drone up in a... Ooh, yikes. It's going to set the drone up in a correct position for warping very close to where we want to be back in Kerr for the next portion of the run. So at this point, we want to go to the Holy Temple of Sudra and pick up our big 2 movement upgrades for the remainder of the run. One is the enhanced drone launch, which fires the drone farther and faster than we do right now, and the other is Red Coat, which improves our dash to 3 tiles, makes it drill through drill blocks, and also makes it deal damage to enemies, and also gives us iframes. Basically, it's everything that you could ever want. So we're going to go ahead and clear out this little mini dungeon. The reason that we do this drone warp here is because otherwise you have to go into this fairly long mini dungeon and then save warp back out, and stopping to take that save takes time that you don't want to have to take. So instead, we just warp to the end of the mini dungeon and do it backwards. So there's just we're just like fun little mind bendy thing. So as we kind of clear out some tiles here, there's time for a couple more donations if we got them.
Heck yeah, we got them. We have $50 from Territory Lanes. No comment, but this does this does give the SNES medley a good fighting chance of being our pick for that bid war. And we have $46 from our own Sellying. In great armor shall I clad these A Link to the Past racers. They will have tactics and strategies such that no foe can best them in battle. They are my space marines, and they shall know no fear. I think that's for the bid war, for the naming incentive for that. And if there are any 40K fans out there, I think that's what you want to go for.
That is wonderful. Wonderful. We're so close to $17,000. I wonder if we can't just get $85 more during this run. So one of the things that I'm doing now as I make my way into the temple is this thing called map falls. If you don't open the drone, then Trace will continue to collect map tiles. All right, 1 second. I need to... Okay, I did not do that right. I'm about to do another grapple glitch, so bear with me for just 1 second. There we go. I need audio cues for this, so I'm going to be quiet. All right. So this was Temple Skip. Temple Skip involves grappling onto the doorway as you pass through the door. This is similar to the grapple onto the door when we did Drug Skip earlier in the run. It basically confuses the game about where the grappling hook is attached and causes it to drag you way the heck into the interior of the temple. This causes you to spawn inside of a location called Green Hell, so known because it is both green and hell. And it spawns you into that room with that room unloaded, so there are no enemies in it. And that allows you to progress from that room into the inner chamber where we are going to pick up Red Coat, or in this case, Red Speedo. And what this means is that we can do the entirety of Green Hell, and indeed the entirety of Temple, backwards, with the benefit of having additional iframes, additional damage, and additional speed. So now, basically, my movement for the rest of the run is chaining together these red coat dashes alongside these drone launches and to go Neum as fast as possible. Now, we actually do have reasons for the passcode tool aside from putting on a Speedo. And one of those is that it can open. There are some items that can only have their pathways open. Oh, geez. There we go. That was very close. There are some items that can only have the pathways to them opened by using a passcode. And so we actually need the passcode for more than just cosmetic purposes. We actually need it to open items. And this is one such weapon. It is the Quantum Variegator, also known as the Noodle Gun. It fires like this. It's not especially useful. So we're not really going to make use of it. We are going to make sure to collect all of our map tiles in here as we make our way out here. We're going to take another routing save right here because we're going to do the entire rest of Temple and then save warp back to this interior portion so that we can exit because we don't want to go back out into Upper Kerr the way that we came. We have some other business to attend to. And there's a couple of weirdly shaped rooms here where we do kind of have to futz around with what angle do we fire the drone at and when do we dash, and it's very easy to kind of futz out and make a little mistake there and cost some time. There are lots of little nooks and crannies that we do have to make sure to get, and lots of hidden notes. Well, not lots, but certainly compared to other places, there's a lot of stuff that's just kind of buried in walls in weird places that are very easy to miss if you're not paying attention. Like this. This little cubby hole contains a note. Oh no, we cracked an egg. In Axiom Verge, cracking an egg is not a good thing, unlike in real life. So those golden sentries that were just shooting at me are extremely dangerous if they hit you with their bullets. But if they hit you with their bodies, they do very minimal damage. Also, these gold walls that I'm teleporting through with my coat, those are actually supposed to be opened by a key that I'm on my way to collect because we skipped the room where you get the key. Because that room is incredibly dangerous and difficult unless you have red coat already, in which case it's trivial. So we're actually gonna go ahead and do that now. So we're gonna stop and grab this save room really quickly. But this is key room. There are golden sentries all over the place, and like I said, their guns do lots and lots of damage. But if you happen to have red coat already, well, you've got tons and tons of iframes and mobility, and also you don't actually have to drill through these blocks. You can just red coat through them, and there's the key. And really quickly, that is all of the items inside of Temple, and so we're just gonna go ahead and zip back. All the way back to the inner depths of Temple, where we are going to go ahead and... Yep, we got all the map tiles too. All right, so let's get the heck out of here. This puts us back in Kerr right by grapple room. So remember we skipped the big scorpion before? We're going to go ahead and fix that problem. So first we proceed down past dead Katrahaska who lies sleeping. And now we make our way into the room of the Scorpion King, Gurtab. Gurtab is expecting us to come from the other side, so he's a little confused, but basically we're just going to hang out here and... All right, bye, Gurtab.
Sorry to cut in, but I just want to quickly take a moment to say, nice. That's all.
Nice. Up doors are the real final boss. So this is where we were when we did the Gurtab skip earlier. When we rode the Krill rocket, it took us into the back area of this room, which is actually where we picked up the remote drone earlier in the run. So we're just going to come in here, clean up a couple of squares, and we're going to begin cleaning up the area of Kerr. We're going to pick up a bunch of map tiles and items, and we're going to start with the snowy area of Upper Kerr. This area is weirdly shaped. In fact, many of the areas that we need to clean up in Kerr are weirdly shaped. So we do have to be a little bit careful about how we clean them up. And what I did there was I did a high toss of the drone to do a map fall with Trace. I'm going to do that again, actually. Oh, I did not. I was not in the right position. No, he's actually just landing there. It's fine. We're gonna skip doing that map fall because we're gonna have to go down anyway. What I was hoping to be able to do was basically to proceed to the right immediately when I was starting to fall down, but that's not that big of a deal. We have lots of weird item placements in this room. Here we have Ion Beam, which is laser. Laser goes pew pew. We also have a little health node fragment over here. Also very useful for refilling our health. Would be good if we didn't blip that. All right. And now we are going to go ahead and grab these upper tiles. Now, the weird thing about this is that we actually have one more thing on the way right far side of this room. And exactly how to optimally get these tiles is not, I don't know. I haven't really figured it out yet, so I kind of ad hoc it every time, and sometimes I forget a little bit, which is kind of what happened there. But we are now done with that section of Upper Kerr. We have 4 more map tiles to collect up here. These upper 2 tiles are really easy to miss and became known as the Sabera tiles in my early days of speedrunning this category. And we're not done with Kerr, but we are going to leave a little bit early and head back into Eden because there's a convenient exit into Eden right here that allows us to clear out Eden easily and quickly. So we're going to do some more of this map falling. Ooh, hey, I missed a map tile that's actually kind of important out here. Ooh. There are lots of zombies in this room, and it's kind of unfortunate because they can make a really unpleasant sound if they end up in the wrong place. But one of the big important things about this room, this cave room here, is actually not the items that we get here, but the fact that this sets us up to do another grapple shenanigan clip. So we're going to go ahead and clear those things out. We're going to find our magic pixel right here, and there we go. And that is called the silo clip because it clips us into the big silo in this area where we get a dress bomb. And a dress bomb is the item that we're supposed to need to get into this, in and out of this area from the sides. Normally you come into this area, into this room by defeating a quote unquote boss called Clone, who we're going to go take care of now. So I just exited the way that I was supposed to come into silo. And this is Clone. Clone is considered a boss because Clone shows up on the boss HUD after you kill it, but Clone is not really a boss. Now, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't save here, but there is actually a potential crash a couple rooms from now, so we're gonna save right there. Glitching these worms causes them to be able to break through those walls, which enables us to make it up here, which is something that we need to do in order to pick up a weapon that we will never use. We'll go ahead and make our way through here. And this is the potential crash room. Easy tiles and items to miss are right up here above the entryway to this. Fun fact, you can actually just dash straight down through this. Hidden item in this little column right here. I actually did miss a map tile unexpectedly up here. And let's get out of here. We are out of the crash room. So we should be safe now. Shock tool. And this allows us to move into the western side of Eden, or Eden, or whatever, however it's called, however it's pronounced. I don't speak Sudran. You probably don't either. We're now going to take advantage of the same glitch that we used to do the Krill rocket, which is called a displacement warp. We're going to leave Trace where destructible blocks were, and we're going to recall the drone from another room. That resets the room. It respawns the destructible blocks, and the game goes, oh, Trace is stuck in a wall. I better move him up until I have a good place for him. And that allows us to get to the door much more quickly. Oh, I did not manage to get these with just one bomb. That is fine. Fun fact, if you pick up an item while the slowdown effect from Address Bomb is going off, your item pickup animation is also slower because the way that the game deals with that is just slowing down the entire simulation. Oh no. Now I think that okay, yeah, that sends us back here, which is not a terrible place to be sent back. I was a little uncareful about how much damage I was taking from the blade vines, so that's okay. This is a pretty fast fix, and we also don't have to go about collecting all of the weapons again, but that was a little bit unfortunate. So stuff in this area does a lot of damage, even if you have red coat, which every coat that you get increases your damage reduction. So it does pay to be a little bit more careful than I was being while I was talking. Safety saves safe in more than one way. All right, so we're going to pick up a needle here. This will cause tentacles to sprout out of Trace's back whenever his health is full. I didn't make the game. Don't ask me. We'll go ahead and grab this in this little hook right here and move on out back into Ukana, where we're gonna start doing some weird cleanup stuff. And there's another safety save here. Well, not safety save, routing save. And it's a good time for some more donations if we've got them.
We do, in fact, have them. We have $54 from Elegant Fugue for some nice Yeez music, which was the beautiful donation that put us at a pretty nice number. And we have a $10 donation from Anonymous. Sorry about the funny number, but I had to put Katamari music back on top, and I can respect that. I should point out that Katamari music is $1 ahead, so do with that information what you will. And also that we're $21 away from 17K.
Wow, $21. That's amazing.
$21.
So the thing that I just did climbing that shaft, that is called an elevator shaft. That's called the elevator shaft. And that's basically just repeated drone swapping vertically. And then it's actually quite a bit of a mess to time that last dash through the floor, because if the drone is too high, Trace won't be able to spawn because his head will be too far into the wall for the game to allow him to spawn there. So that one actually does take a lot of practice. It's really important in the no major glitches run. In the any percent yes major glitches run, as we call it, YMG, it is actually not important because you just use the drug skip door grapple to get back to the top of this area. In this particular routing of cleanup, I do this cleanup before we head to the end of the game, so actually does make sense to do the elevator climb. This whole area was just like replete with stuff that we couldn't get earlier, and there are kind of two ways that you can choose to do this. You can do this cleanup right before you head to the final area, because this is the only area that connects to the last area of the game. There is the room that I didn't explore upward, is the room that leads to this game's equivalent of Torian, basically. Or you can do it now, and the way that I like to route things, I do it now so I don't have to worry about it later, because I can just come up and grapple skip later on. Fun fact, if you've ever wondered why you couldn't 100% this game and you were trying to, it may be because there's an item held inside of these slugs if you glitch them. I don't know why. But if you glitch them the very first time, you will get a health fragment out of them. You can spawn the same health fragment multiple times, but the game won't count it even if you collect it multiple times. It won't count it more than once, because every health fragment and every item in this game is referenced by its individual item ID, which is particular to its location. And so if you collect the same item ID more than once, it doesn't count, even for items that are essentially fungible, like health nodes and power nodes. So weird little fun fact about the game. Otherwise, you would have been able to pick up a whole bunch of extra health nodes that way. So we look like we're coming back to the first area for Arabu cleanup, but we're not doing that yet. What we're actually doing is indie cleanup. So the area with Araka in it is 2 tiles high everywhere, and we only got the top tiles riding on Araka's head. We need to pick up all of the rest of those tiles, or else we're not going to get 100%. There's also one other item kind of hanging out in here that we need. It's just in this little cubby hole over here. But then we basically need to deal with all of these map tiles. So hi, Araka, I love you. You're wonderful. We're gonna ignore you for now.
Do you mind if I just make a quick announcement?
Go ahead.
We have just hit 17K. We are exactly $20 off of our all-time record. Thank you to Alfie and Marissa Angel for the 2 donations. These did shift the music bid war again. I think Yeez is winning again. And I think it's by one, and it's not by a lot. So just as a warning to everyone.
All right. So we're almost done cleaning up this little area. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to walk back into Kerr the same way that we came in earlier, and we're going to finish Kerr. So there was a bunch of stuff back here that we didn't get before, and the reason for it is if we'd done it before, we would have had to walk all the way back out, and now we don't. Now we can save warp at the end of this. So we're going to go ahead, send our drone in here and get this useless weapon that's hidden in the wall called Firewall. Firewall is more or less what it would suggest. It fires a flame that eventually lands on the ground and turns into a little wall of fire, which sounds way cooler than it actually is, and we are never going to use it. We are also going to go ahead and into here. This is known as the Room of Pain. The way that you're intended to do this room is by glitching the krill into platforms and then riding them to the top. And that is terrible. It is an absolutely awful experience. So if you have drone teleport and red coat, it's really not that bad at all. The weapon that we just picked up is called Tethered Charge. It's like a yo-yo, so we're basically Mike Jones from Star Tropics now, and now we've got all the map tiles and all the items, and we're gonna go ahead and save warp. And that puts us back here and allows us to start Ereboo cleanup. We're gonna go ahead and grab that map tile real quick so we don't forget it. And basically, we do have to traverse these map tiles again a little bit, but this is not as bad as having to walk in and out of the Room of Pain area in Kerr. So this is much more preferable than what we could have done for other cleanup. We're going to abuse displacement warping again. We're going to pop into this. We're going to buffer an address bomb right out of here so that we can stick Trace in this little cubby hole down here and send our drone just right in here. And this terrifying little passageway full of really awful sentries holds yet another weapon that we are never going to use. And when we recall the drone back up, Trace is going to be right up here by the door, and we're going to make a quick escape. Oops. I overdashed that a little bit. And now we're going to go back and save at the very first save point in the game. We're going home, folks. They say you can't go home, but you totally can, and here we are. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick save at this save point because this is going to be our hub for Ereboo cleanup. And now go ahead and grab that tile up there. We are going to go get the fourth and final weapon of the run. Yes, an hour into the run, we will be obtaining our fourth weapon that we care about, the flamethrower. Now, while Firewall is not great, the flamethrower is great, and this one was not produced by the Boring Company, so I don't feel quite as bad about it. So we're gonna go ahead and drop an address bomb up here. Make sure that we grab that lower tile down there. That's an easy one to misfire. An address bomb here, and we're gonna go ahead and enter our new passcode, Dinger Gisbar. You heard me right, Dinger Gisbar.
Dinger Gisbar.
Yep. And that opens the way to the flamethrower. This is literally the best weapon in the game. So we're gonna go ahead and bind that to our primary fire, and then we're gonna save warp. Dinger Gisbar. Walking back here would have actually been slower than save warping, so here we are. We are going to abuse displacement warping one more time. We're going to pop over here. We're going to sneak into this little cubby hole to grab a map tile, and then we're just going to stand inside of those red bubbles while we send our drone out to go ahead and collect this note. And then we're going to go ahead and recall our drone, which is going to send us way up high in Ereboo, just like all the way nonsense high to a place that we would normally need a passcode to reach. And now that saves us having to enter another passcode and also having to backtrack quite a bit later on. And we're gonna enter Thriller Room. It's full of zombies because it's Thriller Night. Okay, that's Thriller Room. We only entered that to get the map tiles. That's where we would have come in if we'd used the passcode, but we're not using the passcode, so we don't actually have to do that. And we're gonna go ahead and come back here. We're gonna hit this switch, grab this item right here, which is the whole purpose of this upper area of hitting the passcode in the first place, and just exit out this side. Really quickly, we do have to grab the tiles in the room where we would have used the passcode had we used the passcode. So we'll go ahead and do that before going on and grabbing an early game weapon that we left behind before because we don't care about it, the Multi-Disruptor. The Multi-Disruptor is essentially the shotgun from Bionic Commando, and we don't need it. We don't care about it. Another early game item that we left behind is at the end of this hallway. It is a range node. No, wait, it is a size node. I stand corrected. And that is simply because this room is much faster to do the out and back on if you have red coat. one more thing, in the Nova Chamber, there was an up door that we didn't take, and you know, what's up door? Not much. What's up with you? And that is going to get us one more full health node before we exit Arabu. So we're going to go ahead and grab this health node, and as soon as control is returned to us, we're going to go ahead and save warp. So having taken care of that, we are now going to go ahead and move on to cleaning up Absu, the second area of the game. We have one more passcode item that we need to grab, and that will clear us out of this entire area. And that means that now is another good time for announcements or donations, if we have them.
Oh yeah, we have a good number of donations here. We have $21 from the Jaded Mew that says Katamari for the record, and that was the record-setting donation, so thank you for that. Then we have another $21 from Maeve that says exactly $20 away from the old record. How about 21 more crisp bills for you? Which came close. You were sniped, but your donation is no less appreciated. We have $50 from Trace that says Axiom Verge commentary hits different for me. And like who could not enjoy like commentary this good?
Aw, that's very sweet.
We have $55 from Mr. Cab 55. No comment, but totally on brand. And then we have $1 from Alice Powell, which served to tie the bid war. It is exactly tied right now.
Oh my gosh. Somebody take control of that bid war.
Do Katamari.
Do East.
Do Katamari.
Do East.
Katamari.
East. So we are now, oh, hello, in Absu. It is very easy to miss this save room. It's really easy to just be like very excited to go downward. As you can see, even an experienced player such as myself can make such a mistake. But it is important not to if you want to collect all of the map tiles and all of the items, because those map tiles for those save rooms count. So there's a lot of side windy passages in this area that we just couldn't get to before, either because we didn't have a glitch gun, or we didn't have a weapon that passed through walls, or it was just too hard with the amount of damage reduction and health that we had. And so now is a really good time for us to go ahead and clean those things up. None of these items are especially important at this point because we are extremely overpowered already. But we are going to go ahead and get them anyway because those are the rules. One thing that I do really like about this segment of the game is that it really gives you a lot of time to just really enjoy the movement. I really love coat swapping and drone teleporting and finding places to put myself through 2 tiles or 3 tiles with an up dash. What's up dash? Not much. What's up with you? And so that is like a really, really solid redeeming quality of this portion. Is you kind of just get to like zen out and enjoy the movement because nothing else is really in your way. One thing that I don't think I ever mentioned about the mechanics of this game that I think is really great. It's one of the things, there are lots of ways in which this game is just incredible. One of them is just how robust it is to all of the glitches that we do. Instead of crashing all the time, it just rolls with it and lets us do funky things. But as you are moving through doors, you can buffer inputs. And so if I hold the address bomb button as I'm moving through a door, I will fire an address bomb on my first available frame through the door. If I hold jump going through the door, I will jump on my first available jump frame through the door. And it's really nice, like little quality of life thing that you're able to do that, because those frame perfect inputs through doors are actually incredibly useful in a wide variety of places for setting up movement for consistency. And you don't get that with every game. I had been like kind of learning Super Metroid recently, and oh, my controller disconnected for a moment. Sorry about that. You know, you don't get door buffering in Super Metroid, and I was like, oh right, that's not a thing in every game, is it? So that is a thing that I appreciate about this. There's also some neat places for clips. So right here, we're actually going to do another one of those fun grapple clips. So we're going to stand underneath this crystal and just grapple clip down here to avoid having to go a long way around. We take two door transitions to reload this room so that we can pick up the item that's in it and score the map tile. And if we had done this another way, we would have either had to save warp out of here, which setting up the save warp would have taken us 6 seconds in addition to the time that it takes to actually reload once you're done, or we would have had to do an out and back, which is really like not particularly desirable. So being able to clip through there saves a bunch of time. Really, really nice little thing. But we have a lot of these like little drone mini dungeons in this area. Some of them are better with trace in them. Some of them are better without trace, because coming out and back is not that great. This is one of the ones where it just like makes sense to send the drone and then recall it. And the routing of this whole segment was just like very interesting at the time that it was being done, because people were doing stuff that was like a half an hour slower. And one of our OG community members, Video Game Roulette, who is actually also one of the developers of the randomizer mode, Tom basically saw the fan randomizer that was a mod for the game and was like, this is so cool, do you want to come implement it in the actual game? Which is how Axiom Verge has a rando. It's in beta still. It's not. It's in open beta, but it's in beta. Just like improvised a route that was a half an hour faster than what people were doing, and that was the basis for the route that we have today. I made a whole bunch of alterations to that route and introduced a bunch of new glitches. After Orloff, who is currently second place in this category, decided to start using a route based on any percent, and I was like, oh, I already run any percent. I'll go ahead and just follow along and do that with you. And then started finding lots of other places for optimizations. Amusingly enough, while I was looking for a new skip for any percent that I never found. So a little bit of the history behind this run for you in this weird little niche in the run while we do clean up. If we have any more donations, now is a great time.
We do indeed. We have $5. We have $5 from Dinger Gispar. With the comment that just says Dinger Gispar. And if you're wondering, did that money go to the bid war? It did. And if you're wondering, what part of the bid war did it go to? The answer is it was evenly divided between the two leads. Then we got $15 from Silver Striker that says, I heard that Yeast Music and commentating about the final the free trial to the Final Fantasy XIV supports the Trevor Project. Wink. That is not true. But if you're wondering where this money went, it went to naming the. I think it might have gone to. Wait. I'm not sure if this went because I've accidentally clicked the thing, but I think it went to naming the player character in Final Fantasy in the run. The Final Fantasy XIV free trial now goes through Heavensward, and that's over 60 hours of blah 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 blah.
Indeed. In fact, I am a player of Final Fantasy XIV, though I subscribed all the way from A Realm Reborn, so I didn't get to benefit from the expanded free trial that goes all the way up to level 60 and includes the award-winning expansion Heavensward. So we have not finished Absu cleanup, but we've already moved on to Z, and the reason is that we have saved for the last time before we go to the final area of the game. So we're going to be save warping back to Abzu to finish cleanup once we finish Z cleanup. So we have to pick up our other needle here. So now if Trace is at full health, he gets 4 tentacles instead of 2 tentacles. Sorry, Trace. You've got a lot of tentacles now. I have nothing else to say about that topic. And one of the interesting things about Z Cleanup is that we've actually done a surprising amount of stuff that we would have needed to do earlier in the run, just because of the way that we routed in the drone warps. But there is still nonsense. So we have to do this kind of sad out and back here. Which, God, what is this? I forget what this tunnel is called at this point. It has some sort of catchy name, but basically we can just use red coat to skip through the orb walls, which is a huge deal. If you don't have red coat, you actually can send your drone through their center eye, as I just did there, which is a fun way of doing it when your coat dash is on cooldown as well. I didn't realize that this room had a nickname until like relatively recently when people were talking about it through the randomizer, so I do apologize for not knowing that particular bit of lore. We come back to YOLO room, and this time it's a lot easier. And also we are able to pick up this hidden item that we weren't able to get before. We already picked up the little alcove item at the bottom. And that is actually something that you can get with just drone. You don't actually need any coats to get it. You don't have to teleport through the floor to pick that one up. And now we're just going to do a little bit more grapple shenanigans, and then we're going to do something that is affectionately named Swarp. And Swarp, you might think that it stands for save warp, but it absolutely doesn't. It stands for Sabera warp. So there's this item right here, right, and this little alcove in the wall, and we would always send our drone out here to do a little falling and pick up some map tiles in this room below, like this. And I figured out that if you park yourself in that alcove and pop your drone there, then you can move immediately to the right into this room, this boss room that we didn't get all of the tiles in before because we couldn't at the time, where we have a couple of items that we miss. And this is Swarp. It saves about 12 seconds over the thing that we used to do that involved walking around the previous room. So Swarp is beloved by me, in particular, because it was the first strat that I actually invented myself that got a name, as opposed to just being like how you do YOLO room. Though my YOLO room strats actually have names now. So it was the beginning of an era. We're picking up a couple of map tiles here. We didn't get these before because we used a glitch to put ourselves out of bounds to get to passcode tool room. So we do need to go back and collect those. We're going to go ahead and move into maintenance tunnel. These steamwork tunnels, this is a really long mini dungeon, and it has a lot of ferocious enemies and drill blocks. So if you try to do this with just the drone, it sucks. So we really do want to have Trace available in here to swap in with, and it's good that we're doing this pretty much at the end of the run. So as we make our way through here, just moving and a schmovin', we are going to do this drop here. We're going to drop Trace while we send the drone into this top cavern. The drone is going to grab this note, and then we're going to recall the drone, and Trace is going to be at the bottom of the shaft that we dropped him to. And that's going to save us a little bit of time. Moving through one more zombie room. And we will find ourselves in possession of one more weapon. I'm going to do a real quick map check. And that clears out Z. We save warp. Back to Absu. I'm going to do a really quick check. All right. Good. We are exactly where we expect to be at this point. now it's time for Spider Heck. And if you're wondering what I mean by Spider Heck, well, you'll see in a minute. I think we have time for one donation before I get there. If you have one handy.
I do in fact have one. We have $100 from Siata Biri. Thank you, no comment, but I appreciate it. We also have $5 from me. I wanted Katamari.
All right. Welcome to Spider Heck. This is why it's called Spider Heck. There are spiders. Heck. All right, at this point we have cleared out Absu. And by exiting here, we should have cleared out Indy. We have cleared out Indy. All right. It's time to do the drug skip again. Now, when I did this the first time, I had to carefully align a blind clip from the room that I skipped into the save room below. And I don't have to do that anymore because there are two different versions of Ukana. One of them is the hallucination sequence version, in which that room's left exit doesn't go anywhere, and so it will crash the game because it is trying to load a room that doesn't exist. And then there is the real version of the area, in which the room to the left of this actually does exist, and so if you leave through the door, everything works normally. So we're just going to do that one. In fact, it is impossible in the real version of Ukana to perform the clip. Normal in the hallucination version, there's a door overhang on the right side as well as the left side, but that is not present in the real version of this. So it is no longer possible to perform the clip that we did earlier in the run in the first place. With that, we do have all of the items in this area. All right, good. I was reading the map incorrectly at first. And now we are... Ooh. There we go. All right, we are clear. We have cleared out every area except for the final area of the game. Welcome to Mar Uru. Mar Uru is Axiom Verge's response to Torian. And it should be no surprise that the mechanistic theming of Mar Uru doesn't shoot too far from its inspiration. It's not exactly Torian, but you can tell it was inspired by it. Not Torian. Mar Uru has 3 bosses in it, including the final boss, 2 of which we could skip if we weren't doing an all bosses run. The first of these is Sentinel. So Sentinel has no doors leading out of his room, but the barrier, the ceiling above Sentinel deletes itself when Sentinel is defeated. However, that portion of the ceiling that deletes itself is only 3 tiles thick, so it's possible to use the grappling hook and the coat to just skip through it, and in fact, like that. Unfortunately, I did it a little bit too late and fell, but if you do that earlier, then you can get a foothold and get out of there faster. So in any percent, we actually use that to entirely skip that boss. We are supposed to use glitching these enemies, these sentry enemies, to get stuff in this room, but we're actually just going to use the grapple to clip through the floor instead. That's much faster and much more fun. And that's going to lead us to 3 separate items in this room. Very, very nice. And with this, we are basically just on the run up to the hardest boss in the game, which not the final boss. So if we have a couple more donations to read, now's a great time.
We do, in fact. We have a $50 donation from Cryon HR that says, have you heard about The Legend of Zelda 3, which is free to play until Ganon's Tower and now includes the critically acclaimed expansion, A Link to the Past randomizer? So just so people are aware, that did put Yee's $50 ahead, and I will say this run is coming to a close soon, and yes. We're going to have to close that bid war soon too. I will let you know when it closes. but it's going to be during the intermission between this run and the next run, and you really will not have a lot of time to get a donation in. So if you want to change that, Katamari is not too far behind, and even the other things could be brought in with a big donation. So keep that in mind if you want to see something else.
Absolutely. So that was Zetterhul, which is completely optional, even in the base game. There is no barrier that prevents you from leaving Zetterhul's chamber. Zetterhul is the most difficult boss in the game. He has tons of HP, attacks very aggressively, and does ridiculous amounts of damage. But with a little help from our enormous amount of power that we have accumulated over the course of this run, we took him down. It was not a handy defeat. It was, in fact, quite bare. But with that, there is only one boss remaining. We just picked up the jokiest item in the game, Reverse Slicer, which is essentially a short-range boomerang that doesn't do a ton of damage. Here we enter into Disco Hell, the room before the final boss of the game. This run is going to be over very soon, so if you want your donations for that incentive, that bid war, get them in now. We pick up the final item of the game, which is health? No, some sort of note, maybe. Proceed into the final save room of the game. We are on our way to the last boss. This is it, folks. We are almost out of here. Really quick check. Everything is clear except for this area. This area is cleared out. So the final boss summons these beholder sentries that are colloquially called donuts. In order to defeat the boss, we have to defeat this green gem 3 times. Most of our damage is actually coming from the dash damage from Redcoat and not from the flamethrower, believe it or not. But both of these are quite powerful at this point in the game, so these gems go down quickly. Time is going to be after the screen fades to black, after the animation, the death animation of the boss. So not until it fades to black. That is the 3rd destruction. We do have to wait out the animation. It is possible to die at this point if the donuts are still out there and kill you. We're not at any risk of that. We are able also to escape up here. I am going to jump into the void. Because the void is a great place to watch the end of the world. Our sneaky lady friend destroys our nemesis with enormous laser beams, and time.
Amazing run. Great job.
Hold on. Items, 100%. Map, 100%. Death count, 3. Now, with that said, that is about 43 seconds over my estimate for normal mode, and about 2 minutes slower than world record for this category, or 3 minutes, something like that. So that was a pretty good run. I don't feel too bad about that. Thank you so much for the GGs, everybody. All of the donations leading up to us doing hard mode. This is the first time that the Krill Rocket glitch has ever been shown off in a marathon. And so I am really, really happy that I got to show it to you. This has been wonderful. I can't believe I got to run 2 different games at this marathon. And thank you all for bringing us up to nearly $17.5 thousand. I'm going to go ahead and top that off now. Thank you all.
No, thank you for that amazing run. Wow, and both that and your run earlier.
Well, thank you very much.